From clean girl to croquette, Y2K, indie, cottagecore, grunge, preppy, you name it, there's a plethora of aesthetics out there. But with so many trends and styles, is personal style and self-expression being discarded? Let's explore the phrase, is it truly unique to be like everyone else? Hi, my name is Jaden and I make commentary videos on culture, media, and kind of whatever's going on in the world that I feel like yapping about. And today I wanted to yap about personal style and aesthetics and kind of like individuality, and if like self-expression, personal style, and being an individual is kind of gone at this point. We all know that there are a million aesthetics and trends out there in the world, especially on TikTok, where, all these trends kind of gather together, and then there's a new trend and a new style every single day at this point. I've even made several videos on like aesthetics and like trends, stuff like that, like what's kind of going on in the world. But I kind of want to dissect this particular aspect of like individuality and kind of break it down and see like what is going on. Like, are people still individual? Is being part of a trend or a community like getting rid of people's individuality and personal style? Or is it just a means of community and fitting in? How is that harmful? Is it harmful? Like the whole shebang. So, yeah. Before we start this video, I want you to comment questions down below that you want me to answer in an upcoming Q&A video as a thank you for over 1,000 subscribers, because we have over 1,000 subscribers. I am super happy. I don't know 1,000 people. I kind of went on a little rant in my last video about how happy and grateful I am, but I really want to do like a little Q&A because I think it would be really cute and just a cute little way to bond. So ask some questions in the comments below that you want to know, and I'll answer them in an upcoming Q&A, or you can DM them to me or comment on my community post I made as well. Anyways, let's get back into the video. With all of these trends and aesthetics in particular, it's kind of like a weird capitalistic community in a way, because they are selling you these ideas that you have to dress a certain way, you have to use certain products, follow a specific routine, and live a certain lifestyle. And it's kind of controlling every aspect of people's lives at this point. Because, like, for all these trends, you're kind of putting yourself into a box and it's not leaving any room for self expression. You see all these perfectly curated videos of a certain lifestyle, and it's like, this is what I have to wear, these are the brands I buy, this is the products I use on my skin, this is the makeup I use, this is where I shop, this is what I eat, this is how I eat, this is how I work out, this is this, blah, 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 blah. It's all very, very like structured, right? Like there's no way to like get outside the box. And if someone does something and posts it online of them following this trend, but they do something that doesn't necessarily align with that aesthetic, then they're called like a poser, or that they're not part of the community, and then they get a lot of backlash for that. It's almost like you can't just wear the clothes, you have to be a part of it. Like the aesthetic has to perfectly be your lifestyle, right? Like trends and styles are no longer just fashion, they're fully just lifestyle, which in a way is kind of how it's always been if you think about subcultures. I made an entire video on subcultures actually. And that kind of goes, wow, it's really raining out there. Holy moly. Jeez. Like thunder. What? That's weird. We don't get. No, is it hailing? What is happening? Oh my gosh. Jeez. Anyways, as I was saying before, the rain low key freaked me out. Okay, no, I'm actually scared of storms. It's not funny. Like, I'm terrified like the power's gonna go out, and I am scared of the dark. Okay, I'm gonna admit that right now. Okay, I am actually terrified of the dark. Okay, anyways, back to what I was saying. Subcultures, right? So a subculture, we've explained this. Like, I've discussed this before. A subculture is more than just the way someone is dressing. It goes with their entire identity and belief system. Like, a lot of subcultures are based around the music you listen to, what your political beliefs are, etc. So with it on TikTok, all these aesthetics, it's kind of the same situation if you think about it, because they are following this routine, right? And it is boxed in. That's a problem I do have with subcultures as well, that they are boxed in. All styles and aesthetics are just boxed in, and people that step outside of those bounds are considered posers and inauthentic, when in reality, they're being their authentic selves. And isn't that what makes you an individual by not following everything? Food for thought. The main ones, though, that people seem to call out in particular that I see a lot of backlash against are clean girl and croquette style. And a lot of people have problems with this is because they are so big and popular, and everyone is like, well, all these girls are the exact same, like no one's unique. But it's the fact that we're all consuming the same type of media, and what's most popular is going to show up on everyone's algorithms, and people get influenced by that. And so they're all the same because they're consuming the same media. Like there's nothing different about it. It's the same media. Whatever you're consuming is going to be what you're adapting to. So like if your algorithm is filled of the current trends, then obviously you're going to be influenced to partake in those trends. But it's also important to know that even the people that look like they're living the perfect lifestyle to a T, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is their everyday life, because it's like a 60-second video, maybe 10-minute video, depending on what platform you're watching a video on. That is the tiniest little snippet of someone's life. And we all know social media is curated and fake, and people set things up and they have displays, they do set dressing, they have scripts, etc. That's not them being authentic. Anything you see online, I can guarantee is probably not going to be authentic. It is very rare for someone to be fully authentic, right? Now, there are times when these trends and aesthetics do go a little bit too far and influence the wrong kinds of people and lead to some pretty harmful aspects that affect people's actual like lifestyles, mindsets, and the environment as well. So, with all these trends, all these aesthetics, especially for younger girls, right? Like, not to say younger boys don't get influenced either, but it's more common that younger girls are going to follow trends more so just because that's the way society is, and we are all conditioned to believe we have to follow certain aesthetics and trends and fit in and be popular and yada yada yada. That's just like girlhood, right? Yeah. I was the same, okay? I was a big trend hopper, okay? Like 100%. I was following every single trend when I was a teenager, right? I think I've experienced every single aesthetic and style, subculture, etc. Like I would completely like change my entire personality to fit certain things to fit in and try to discover who I am. And there's nothing wrong with trying out different trends and styles to kind of figure out who you are, because especially when you are young, you're a teenager, you're not going to know who you are, right? Like being a teenager is kind of about exploring and figuring things out. The problem I have though is with social media making it too much. Like there's too many trends, there's too many aesthetics, there's too many influences out there, and it just causing people to hop from one thing to the next every single week. Like trends themselves are supposed to last a couple of months. Micro trends are what we're seeing online. A micro trend is super short lived. It's extremely popular for 1 week and then gone. No one talks about it ever again. It's out. It was last week's news. Hop on to the next thing. Cycle continues. We're seeing this currently with those creepy, oh my gosh, these things are so creepy. Those little boo boo dolls, those things are so freaking creepy. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, no, those are terrifying, but they are insanely popular right now. Everyone's buying one. People are literally stealing them. People are putting them in like plastic containers to hang off their bags to like fully protect it with like a lock and everything. It's hardcore. And we saw this back when Stanley Cups were all the rage as well. People were fighting and lined up outside of stores just to hop on this, because if you didn't have one of those items and you go to like a public school or something, you are going to get bullied for not fitting in. And the people that don't follow the trends are ultimately going to get bullied and harassed for not fitting in and being like everyone else. And with how toxic and brutal social media is, and how kids just have no filter or anything, it makes people not want to be individual and that they feel pressured to actually fit in and follow an aesthetic or a trend. A lot of these trends and aesthetics are kind of influenced through capitalism as well, because it's mostly about getting people to buy stuff and make them feel like they're part of something. Because as humans, we naturally crave community and find our people and find out who we are and what we belong in. And with social media and hardcore marketing and scarcity market, especially, which again we're seeing with when Stanley Cups and Labubu dolls and whatever else is the latest trend that's like super like exclusive and it's gonna go away and everyone's lining up and reselling it for insane prices. It's doing that because companies want to make money, and they want to make money off of pressuring people to buy their products. If something is really popular, they know that it's going to sell out. They're only going to release limited quantities or limited edition or like special offers to get you to buy it and make you panicked that, like, if I don't buy it, I'm not going to fit in and I'm not going to have friends. So I need to be the first person to hop on this trend in order to fit in and feel like I belong somewhere. But it's also not just clothing and accessories and stuff that are fallen into this unoriginal, like kind of blended in with the crowd type of look, right? Like we're seeing it also with a lot of retail stores and restaurants. Even when I was in Europe on vacation, I noticed that not everything looked like unique and cool. There were so many like restaurants and cafes that just look like carbon copies of each other. And even if you go to the mall, every single store looks like the exact same store. Like a Hot Topic looks just like a Claire's from the outside, or how like a Uniqlo looks just like a, I don't know, like an Urban Behavior. Or if you walk to like Sephora, it's gonna look like Yves Saint Laurent. All of them have the exact same fonts, the same door displays, all that. There's nothing unique or that will stand out because everyone just wants to blend in and make it more easy on the eyes and just feel more welcoming, so people aren't scared to step out of their comfort zones. Especially after the pandemic, I feel a lot of people just kind of want to feel comfortable and they don't want to step outside of their own comfort zone to find more about themselves, like self-expression. It's hard and it's scary. Like if you step outside of what's considered the norm, it is scary and people are going to be rude to you, and it can be lonely not fitting in. And especially if you're younger, you're not going to feel comfortable doing that because kids are ruthless. Like people can get so horribly bullied that it's like dangerous. So obviously kids aren't going to want to step out and be unique. But then the kids that do step outside and don't follow the trends, they're ostracized for being considered weird. And then of course there's the aspect of when things that were once considered weird are now trends and popular and are welcomed and people are big fans of them. When I was a kid, anime was considered super weird and you were dorky or strange or just like not cool because you like anime. Now anime is super mainstream. Everyone loves it, right? Like I swear everyone has seen like Attack on Titan or Hero Academia or Fullmetal Alchemist. Like these are all popular now, and like anime conventions are now massive. They used to be really small, and cosplaying as well. Like you would go out in public and cosplay to like go to a convention. Strangers would like harass you on the street. Now, of course, strangers still do that because people suck, but now it's more so like, oh my gosh, you're cosplaying. Is there an anime convention in town? And it's like, yeah. Which on one hand, that's awesome that something that was once hated and considered uncool is now, accepted. But it's also the fact that the same people that were mocking those people for liking these things are now part of it just because they think it's cool and trendy now, opposed to actually being authentic and open to trying something new when it was hated and actually forming their own opinion on it. It is really hailing out there. Oh my gosh. So, what are the impacts of all these trends and aesthetics taking over and kind of boxing people in and making people fearful of stepping outside of the boxes? Or for those that were considered weird and strange, now having their interests become popular? How does this affect us, right? Like, it's confusing. But at first, I want to cover the wasteful aspects because I'm very passionate about the environment and not over consuming because overconsumption is evil and I hate it. But a lot of these trends, because the trend cycles now go so fast, is causing mass production and mass wastage. Like you can't go to a thrift store without finding a plethora of Shein clothing, right? Because they produce trend-based clothing for a cheap price, quick delivery, people buy it, wear it, trend dies, donate it. But the problem with that is with all these trends, thrift stores are also getting overfilled to the point they actually can't sell everything that they've received, and it does end up going to landfills because it's too much stuff. And that's a problem. And then with thrifting also now being considered popular and cool and trendy, people are over consuming at the thrift store, which like you would think from the outside that sounds like, oh great, people are thrifting, money is going to like charities and helping people out. Sounds good, but when people are doing these massive like thrift store hauls, or they're buying all this stuff from the thrift store to resell it on Depop, it's not really ethical. And it's all just gonna end up going into the landfill eventually anyways, because they're buying all these things just to kind of show off. And then they're most likely not gonna use it all, and then they're gonna redonate it. Chances are there's gonna be too much stuff and the thrift store can't accept it. It's gonna get wasted, it's gonna get thrown in the landfill. The world's falling apart. Then, of course, there is the aspect of people not thinking for themselves, and it's limiting them from self exploration and kind of figuring out who they are. If you're just stuck following like a strict like list of things you're supposed to follow and align with, then it doesn't really leave room for your own self to kind of form, because you're basing all of your opinions and thoughts off of other people's, and you're not really thinking for yourself. And then that kind of leads people to become people pleasers, or just kind of more timid and not really outspoken and feeling comfortable in who they are. And they might not speak up in situations about their own opinions, and that's pretty damaging. And yeah, I was there once in my life as well, like just trying to fit in and like go with the crowd so that way you're not like called out for having a different opinion on something. It also limits people from being able to express their own interests. People might be embarrassed or ashamed of expressing their hobbies or their other interests outside of whatever this aesthetic is. If I use myself as an example, on the outside, like physically, like you see me, right? Would you know that I'm a diehard Taylor Swift fan? No, you would not know I'm a diehard Taylor Swift fan based off of what I look like, because it's clothing. It's literally just clothing. Yes, it expresses some aspects about myself. I love darker colors. I love doing fun things with my hair. I love body modifications. I love mixing and matching fun stuff. I love distressing my own clothing. This shirt I thrifted and I cut off the neckline because I thought it looked cuter. I like playing around. I'm self expressive. I'm artistic. But there's a lot about me people wouldn't know just from seeing me right off the bat. I love Taylor Swift. I'm obsessed with my cats. I sound like a chipmunk, like just seeing someone, you can't fully grasp who they are. So like even if like say I made a TikTok just kind of showing a little snippet of like my life, that wouldn't tell you much about me. It would just show kind of like what my living area looks like, and I guess maybe what I do for work. But that's about it. You don't know what someone is like just by seeing them, or especially seeing the version they want you to see. The biggest problem I have, which I discussed in my last video, is when bodies become trends. My last video, I deep dived a bit more into this, but it's essentially when filler was a trend and everyone was getting big Kylie Jenner lips in 2014, and now people are dissolving their fillers. When BBLs were a thing, and now people are getting rid of the BBLs. When being curvy was a thing, when being heroin chic was a thing. Bodies should not be trends, okay? That is harmful literally to your life. Now, fashion trends, those are harmful to the environment, which long term will be harmful to our well-beings, obviously. But the actual body changes and trends are even more harmful because they can lead to serious problems very quickly. And I'm totally against that in every way, shape, or form. I am okay with fashion trends. As someone who went to fashion school, I understand how the pendulum swing works. I understand a little bit of psychology on how the mind works towards like fashion and beauty and stuff like that. I don't have a problem with people trying out trends to try to figure out who they are, as long as they kind of do it ethically and are safe and smart and considerate and actually like what they're doing and only buying the things that they have an interest in. That's fine. And getting it obviously not from sites like Shein, obviously like getting ethically sourced clothing, which is nearly impossible because pretty much every company in the world does have unethical practices when it comes to making clothing. Even those high-end designer brands Their products might say made in Germany, but chances are they were made in China. They just add the finishing touches in Germany so they could put that on the label. I learned that in fashion school. It is a true fact. Just like how sizing isn't real, clothing sizes are made up numbers. That's why you might be an extra small somewhere and a large somewhere else. It's literally just decided for no reason to kind of determine how they want their consumers to feel, because places want you to feel like you are smaller or to encourage you to buy smaller sizes so you feel, I don't know, like trendy. It's dumb. So, what is my conclusion to this weird conversation about identity and trends and expression? Originality is not unique. However, every person is unique. Now, that sounds stupid, that sounds cliche, I get it. But being an individual doesn't necessarily mean you're copying other people or following a trend. Every person is different. Even if they are following a certain trend, they're gonna have interests that aren't strictly in that trend. Um, your interests and your appearance can clash, they can be totally opposite. I know people that are really into like heavy metal music, but they dress more clean girl. You don't have to follow every single aspect of what's laid out in front of you. You do what you like, what brings you joy. There's nothing wrong with liking an aesthetic or trend and feeling like you're actually part of a community and part of something. Humans naturally want to be in community. You want to find people that are like you and similar. That's how you meet people, become friends, get into relationships. You kind of form a connection with people that have similar interests. So, like, with aesthetics, I don't have a problem necessarily with you partaking in an aesthetic. If you're really into cottage core, that's amazing. Like, wear your cute frilly dresses, go to the markets, meet people who are into the same interests, but don't limit yourself to only following that criteria. Don't be afraid to be a cottage core girly who's into new wave music. Don't be afraid to be a clean girl who likes heavy metal. Don't be afraid to be a quote unquote emo kid who likes Taylor Swift, right? Like, you can like all the things in that and everything in that aesthetic, but you can still like things outside of those trends and aesthetics. You don't need to feel pressured to fit into it. If you don't fit every criteria of a trend or aesthetic, that's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. Do what makes you happy, right? Like, who cares if you, I don't know, like maybe you don't like wearing knee length dresses. That's fine. You don't have to wear it if you don't like it. If you don't want to live on a farm, don't live on a farm, you know? Like, it's fine. What makes people unique and individuals is just them as themselves, right? Like, it, sure, you're still considered unique if you follow every aspect of an aesthetic because that's what you genuinely like. Even if you're following it because you don't like it, you're still unique because you're, you know, being doing what you want. Like, if you feel the need that you need to fit in a certain way, especially if that's the only thing that'll make you feel safe at the time, maybe you're in a tight situation and you're scared that you're going to get harassed or hurt in some way, and following this trend is the only way to feel safe, then that's fine as long as you don't lose who you are in the process, you know? So that's pretty much all I really had to say on this topic. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are on individualism. Do you think everyone is the same, or do you think everyone is unique in their own way? I would love to know your thoughts. And I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to comment some questions below as well, because I want to do a 1,000 subscribers Q&A. I also made a little community post on my channel page if you want to leave them there, or feel free to DM them to me. Totally up to you, whatever works. I just really want to make a cute little video as like a thank you and kind of share some facts about me. So yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!